Hello everyone and welcome back to Car Salvage 101, and it is a Christmas Eve, if you're watching this obviously on Christmas Eve, and I thought, what way can I, on Christmas Eve, what does everyone want to watch? Do I put out, another video on another car or something like that? Do I just continue or just do something a bit different? And I thought I would do something a bit different, and I thought I would probably look to end the year with a bit of information about that things aren't always rosy when you go to buy cars, and that it just doesn't all fall into place. And today's video is a story of how this one ended up being quite, what's the word I want to use? It just didn't go well. Let's put it that way. As you can see, this is the Fiat 500 that I purchased from Copart. Purchased it a couple of months ago, I think. It's a 2011 Lounge, and I thought I'd be brave and go with a high mileage and a cheap flip, thinking it was a Cat N, so potentially just need a new front bumper, headlight, etc. Maybe a slam panel, but that was pretty much going to be it. But it was completely wrong. There's a link above to that video, and there's also a link in the description if you miss it. And it turned out to be a Cat S because both legs had been quite badly bent. And so, miscategorized, an absolute ball ache to sort out, and I decided to put it back into Copart because ultimately it wasn't worth my time or effort. Now, it did lose me money, and today's video I'm going to show you exactly the fees and everything, so you get an understanding that, as I said before, that buying and selling cars to do up, it can work, but on the odd occasion it can go horribly wrong. So without further ado, let's crack on, and you can watch this video and then get back to spending time with the family, or cooking, or going out to get your last minute Christmas presents. Okay, so this is the car. Lovely. Just reminds me of pain and hurt. So let's start off with what we paid for it. So the sale fee, let's say, was $700. The Copart fee on top was $280 and 80 pence. Again, if you don't know exactly, you've watched this from a distance, you don't really know anything. Copart whack on various fees. We're talking a fee for you to bid on the car, a fee for them to take their tractor and lift the car and move it onto the transporter. Then you've got VAT, VAT and all those types of things. The more expensive the car, the bigger the fees are. And finally, delivery to me was $180. So the total for that was $1,160 and 80 pence. So all in, that car's been delivered for that amount of money. Now, again, in hindsight, that's actually relatively expensive because I've just purchased a 2011 lounge with 60 odd thousand miles on the clock, and I'm paying just over 1,200. So that gives you a bit of an idea, probably at the time, that this £700 was probably a bit too much. But again, this is all about learning, and I'm being honest with you guys that's that, as I say, we're not all perfect. So okay, so obviously the damage was checked and deemed that I didn't want to get involved in this car. I did initially put it on eBay as a open and honest, don't want it, and I think I put it on for 800. Didn't get anything, nothing at all. So thought the only way to get rid of it was to send it back to Copart, and it will sell without a problem. Well, I say without a problem, it will sell, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. Now, maybe some of you are wondering or thinking to yourself, Alex, you could have done something different. And I'm wondering if what you're thinking is, why did you just not keep it and break it for parts? Because other than the front, pretty much there was no other issues with it. And every single part on this Fiat 500, technically, well, it is worth something, and the cost, part prices are very expensive at the moment. The problem with having that and breaking it is I've got no room for it. I've got no room to break it. I've got no room to store it and then take it apart. All the parts, I don't really have a massive space to store it. And so I know that realistically I probably would have got my money back by breaking it and either selling the parts or keeping them for further projects, because we're talking like the headlight is worth, I don't know, 40. Wing mirrors are worth like 15 quid each. Do you know what I mean? And all those types of things. So it all adds up. But anyway, so decided that Copart needed to take it back. You don't have a refund policy or anything with Copart. It's not Copart's fault that this car was categorised as an N when it should be an S, because that's the insurance company that do that. Copart just sell it on their behalf. So yeah, so we decided that Copart was the best option. Now, giving a car or selling a car back to Copart, this is very different to when you're in an accident and your insurance company decide that the car is a write-off. They contact Copart, and then Copart contact you, give you an offer on your car, and then say, we'll take it away. And here you go, I don't know, your car's worth 1,500, and they say, we'll give you £2,000 for it. And then they take it away and come and pick it up. That's very different to this, which is you contact them and say, I want you to basically sell this car on my behalf. So, the fees. They put a sale fee of £99. That is their one-off sale fee for basically selling it. No matter how expensive, I believe, I could be wrong, no matter how expensive the car is, but anyway, they will charge £99. Collection fee, so they'll come in their own Copart truck. It's within a radius. I think it's like a 70-mile radius or something. But you have no choice on what yard that it's going to get sent to. My local yard is Newbury. It's not the busy yard. So to some extent, you run that risk of not that many people watching the auction. They charge £60 for that. Now, we'll go into it in a minute, but basically, they put it on an approval. So the car will go through the auction, it will come up with a final sale price, and then they will contact you and say, are you happy with this price? And you can say no or yes. If you say obviously yes, the car goes, and if you say no, they'll ask you, do you want the car back or do you want to relist it for like another week? The first time this went around, it sold for £275. I wasn't happy with that, so I told them that needed relisting. So the relist fee, they get you every way. The relist fee was £15. Now, you're thinking, oh, you're about £175 in. Yeah, you got to add VAT to that. And that VAT was £35. So, to send the car back and get it sold, no matter what the price was, you're looking at a total of £209. When realistically, this is not my problem. So, at the moment, my costs are the 1160 plus the 209 for a car that I don't even want. So, what did the car sell for at Newbury? The selling price, I would say put in the comments what you think it sold for, but it's all a bit pointless because you're going to find out. Selling price, £325. That's what it sold for. So, why did it sell for 325 when I bought it for 700? There's a few reasons as to why that is. Number one is that you can technically find out how many times this car's been in auction. There's a website out there, it monitors every Copart auction, and if you pay a price, you'll find the car has been listed already. So in this case, this auction would show that this was listed on the first time around, and I think it then shows you the sold price as well, and then it would then show you subsequently the listing of this again, and then that, in my eyes, would then question as to why they're selling it again. The final part is if you're very clever and you're looking at the car, you'll notice that it's a customer car, not an insurance job. If it's a customer car, as I'm sure if you vaguely follow Copart videos or anything like that, you'll know that customer cars tend to have problems, and that's why they then put them over to Copart. And there'll be a C on the top left-hand corner of the windscreen, so indicating customer. So you buy the car, for example, from Copart, you go to do it up, and for example, let's say that the engine is completely knackered. So again, you send it back to Copart. It just rings alarm bells that when what you're about to purchase isn't all what you see. And that's obviously, in this case, people were thinking, I'm going to get a Cat N car, and you end up with a Cat S car. So I think those are the two main reasons as to why this did not sell anywhere near what I bought it for initially. So, how much did I get back in total for the car? I had a check for £116.20, because obviously they take their fee from that £325. Very disheartening to get a cheque for a car for £116.20. Anyway, how much did I actually lose? Like, what was the total loss? The total loss, so that's the purchase of the car, the delivery of it, and then the fees to sell it back. And then the check from Copart from what's left. I, in total, lost £1,044.60 from that. In a space of a week, no, I lie. In a space of 2.5 weeks, so that's from the time that I won the car to the time it got collected and ran back through the auction, about 2.5 weeks, I was down £1,044.60. That's how much that cost me, and that's how much that insurance company cost me, because I didn't, as I explained before, totally miscategorized, and because of that, getting those legs bent back, it's just, yeah, it wasn't worth it ultimately, because it had 120 odd thousand miles on the clock. So it really is a lesson learned for me, in regards to certainly looking at high mileage Fiat 500s for quick flips. And it's a lesson learnt about how much money Copart take from you and what you're sort of really looking at for resale value. So back to them, because it can be done. You can get a car back to Copart and it pretty much sells exactly what you got it for. I have no doubt that if I was to buy a Copart car tomorrow with pretty much minimal damage, keep it for a month or so, and then literally get them to collect it and send it back, it wouldn't surprise me if it roughly goes pretty much again for what I paid for it. The difference is that was not in a good condition, and I think some people could see that that was potentially problematic. So yeah. So it is a bit of a kicker. I'm not going to lie. It is a massive kicker to be just over £1,000 down on a car that you've just arrived and you've barely done you haven't done anything to it really. So need to basically get that money back from getting other 500s and selling them for profit, which I'm trying to do, but and generally on the whole, out of the I've done 14 of these now, and it's only this one and one other one that I've lost money on. Everything else I've generally made some form of money on. Another one, which was year and a half ago maybe, I think, can't remember, there was an issue with the engine and it was probably going to cost me too much to sort it out, so I got rid of that on eBay. Again, sort of, it's not similar. Copart say it was running and driving. When you started it, it was running really rough. But anyway, so I think that's really going to be it. It's not the most positive of videos, is it, for Christmas? But I just think that really there's probably, I don't want to say everyone does it, but there's definitely people who don't talk about how much they make on cars, and obviously probably for a reason, and whether or not they lose money because it might make them look, I don't know, not so much of a decent businessman. But I just thought I'd be open and honest about that, and also about things like how, you know, using Copart and the sales fees and everything that go with Copart. So I hope that's been some use to you. In the meantime, I'm just trying to think. Hit the thumbs up button. Really, really appreciate that. Leave your comments in regards to what you think, just generally about that whole sort of project, the money side of things, anything like that. I can take the criticism. And yeah, Christmas is literally around the corner. The weather is a bit better than it was a couple of days ago, where it was like -5 or 6, and now we're into like 10 or 11. And so things like the projects that I've got have taken a bit of a toll. They've stopped for a bit, and the postal service has not helped. So I've got parts just sitting in the postal system somewhere. And then, so just to keep you up to date, I've currently got the grey Fiat 500, which is being used at the moment temporarily by a family member, because another project was purchased from Copart, and it's a runner, but it's not running. And so we've had to use the Fiat 500 temporarily until we can get that sorted. There's a video coming on that soon. The white Fiat 500 Lounge 2011, which was a quick flip, which you probably saw a week or so ago. That's pretty much done. I've just got to knock out a dent from the side, and then that's pretty much ready to go. The R-Bath, which is what I use as my daily runner, that will be selling next year, beginning of next year. BMW 318, that has got to have its tyres changed, and strangely they've managed to lose a tyre in the post. Don't ask. So I'm waiting on one of those to turn up, and then I can swap over those tyres. And then still got the Giulietta, which is also like a daily runner for when I need to like pick up parts and stuff as well. I'll go into a video on that in the new year. And then one other thing is I won another car earlier in the week, which has been delivered, but you won't see that on the channel until beginning of next year as well. So in essence, I've got three 500s, one R-Bath, a BMW 318, and the Giulietta. My plan is to proper go to town on getting rid of a lot of those beginning of next year or so. So yeah, so hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and yeah, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and I will be back. I don't know what the dates are. I'll be back, I'd imagine. I don't know, can I get a video in before 2023 after this? 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it could fall on New Year's Eve. I'm not really sure. But yeah, until next time, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.